Coach Dash LA. People call me Coach Dash. I come from a long line of Dashes. I'm going to be the indoor head coach, along with 4 or 5 other coaches that are going to be working with you guys. Who's did indoor last year here? All right, that's a lot of new folks then. Okay, great. Great. Thanks for showing up. I'm going to try and give you guys a, can people hear me if I talk like this still? Okay. Oh, sir. So I'm going to try and, when you walk out of here in 20-some, 30-some minutes, I want you guys to have a pretty good perspective on how this program works and how we do indoor, because it is a little bit different than any other sport because our numbers get so high. We usually right around 100 athletes for indoors, and then outdoors we push up to almost 180. And last year we had 9 coaches for outdoor. So it is a unique sport. If you've been on team sports, this is a lot of moving pieces with a lot of different events that are, people were going from A to B throughout practice. Last year, especially in outdoor, I think we did a really good job of setting up a program that everybody got the training that they needed. So like I said, my name's Coach Dash. I normally am the distance coach. This year I'm going to branch off because those of you know that Coach Green unfortunately left us, but good for him. He's now an assistant coach at the University of Hartford. And so I'm going to be taking over as the throws coach for indoor, possibly outdoor, and also working with the hurdlers. And I'm going to let the other coaches introduce themselves right now. Go ahead.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Coach Allie. So great to see some returning faces here. Lots of new faces, too. I worked previously with high jump was my main thing and long sprints. And then this year I'm going to be doing a lot of the same thing and also working with some of the short sprinters, too. Yeah, very busy.
I'm Cooper. Please don't call me coach. I hate it. I do pole and horizontal jumps.
That's pole vault.
All right. Hello, I'm Coach Geary. Probably know me as Geary, especially if you're a thrower. I'm going to be helping out Dash with the throws. I was here last year, and now I'm the coach.
So we also have Mike Green, who's going to be almost the exact same thing as Allie, except that he's not minus the high jump. So he's going to be the long sprints, which is 300, 600, maybe 1,000. Most time you don't do the 1,000. But, yeah, unless you really, really want to. And then also he's going to be working with the short sprints. And we'll talk about that in a little bit, how that works. So then we have Nick Magani, Coach Magani. He was the head coach. He's been a head coach at, what's the high school down on the shoreline? Anyway, can't think of it right now. But he's got a primarily distance background, mid-distance. So he's going to be the primary mid-distance distance coach. I'm going to be stepping out of that as much as I hate to say that. So that's going to be a shock to some people, but he and I think very similar on training. We have the same beliefs. So for those of you that are moving on, it should not be a huge switch for what you've been doing most in your previous career. Okay. Tryouts. We don't do tryouts here. We do testing. So for those of you that are new, everybody wants to know what am I going to get to do. So what we're going to do in the first day of practice is December 2nd, which that's midweek. I can't remember what's that. Thursday. All right. So first day is the Thursday the 2nd. We'll come out there, and for 2 days we're going to do testing. Coaches got to get together and figure out what that testing is going to be like. Sprints, throws, jumps vertically, things like that. Put everybody through that. We'll quantify it, and then we'll figure out where everybody goes. Just about every event, we can put unlimited people in, but the one group that everybody wants to do is short sprints. I can't guarantee that. We're going to cap that group at a certain size, and then those of you that wanted to do short sprints will move into the long sprints. Okay, so that's how that one works. So the way practice works, they are primarily Monday through Friday from 2:45 to 5 at the latest. Your group may be done early. You just got to talk to your coach for that particular day on what that's going to be like, and typically we'll be able to let you guys know at the onset, beginning of practice, what that's going to be like, so you can text parents if you need rides. So typically the way it works for indoor is we have a group warm up, and then you break off into your specialty groups, okay, under your coach. We all co-coach, so it's not a boys team and a girls team from that perspective. Other than when we get to conference and states, we travel together, we coach together. That allows us to focus on those event groups for you guys. So yeah, it's gonna be a mixed bag of girl high jumpers with girl high jumpers, boy high jumpers, all mixed together. Okay, works really well. Admin type things, buck stops with me. So if you have questions that your coach doesn't know off the top of the head, but personnel things, administrative, health, things like that, email me about that. If it's training type questions, email and talk to your coaches. They'll guide you there, guys there. So the practice is going to start, and depending on what group you're in, you may not do that every single day. We might not throw every day. We might not high jump every day. So we might start out in the beginning, you might be in the cafeteria for an hour if your group isn't practicing till 4 o'clock. We did that a lot last year with hurdles and throws, high jump somewhat. You transition from sprinting group to maybe hurdles that later on in that practice. But we will lay that all out. We communicate very well. We'll send you guys out the training plan, and you'll know what it is. And it'll be a Google document. You'll be able to see where you're going every single time based on your groups. Okay? Practice. You need to bring to practice a water bottle with your name on it. We'll have water out there for you all the practices. If it's not terribly cold outside, last year we stayed outside almost the entire year. We met outside, and it wasn't too bad. It was a mild winter. If it starts getting really cold, we will come inside. They should allow us into the auditorium to meet. But obviously, if we're outside, the nice thing is we don't have to wear masks at all in any time outside. Okay. Covet. Fun. All right. So the rules for Covet for athletics are unique to CIAC unless they change it. So, and I'm not going to nail this in terms of the numbers because it gets a little convoluted. If you are a close contact, you can test out of it and wear a mask all the time in practice outside. After 3 days, you can test out of it. You just got to wear a mask 3 days from when you came into contact with a person. If you are not vaccinated, you have to stay out of practice for 10 days, right? 10 days, regardless of your test time. Then you can test out of it for that. I think you can come back a couple of days early. But so you could theoretically be in school, coming back to school, and still not participate in athletics. It's weird, but that's the way it is. So we can't tell you to get vaccinated, but we will ask you, if you haven't brought your vaccine card into the nurse.
Keep it down.
If you haven't brought your vaccine card in, please bring that into the nurse. That'll help if you do get close contact. That'll speed up that process with us having to track you down. All right, that's practice. So meets. The meets are tentative draft meets are on the wall over here and outside around the corner on the door. I will send these out to everyone that is on Family ID, which we'll talk about in a minute, in the very near future. But take a look at it. It's a really robust schedule. I still haven't decided on everything, but we have the brand new track in Bethel. We're going to do at least 1-2 meets there. There's a pole vault meet, pentathlon meet there. We're going to be at Hill House for varsity, maybe 1 freshman-sophomore meet. And then we'll be at Hartford Public for 2, if not 3 meets as well. Okay? So everybody, JV and varsity, will have a chance to compete at least 3-4 times each. But just so you know, varsity, we're only allowed to bring X number of people per event to the varsity meets. And so that we can only bring 3 55-meter dash persons, 3 long jumpers. So that's the challenge. So everyone else will probably blow over into the other meets. Oh, I forgot, Southern Connecticut State University, there's 3 meets for them as well. So that's all good. Hey fellas, up top. Please. All right. Gear. We have uniforms for everybody that doesn't have one that you can buy. I will send that information out to you guys. They're about $54.50. They're nice. The challenge right now what we have is there's a lack of inventory on guys' shorts. So if you're new, you may have to, it's really simple. We go out and buy a pair of black and white shorts or online or something like that on your own. So it's kind of a wash. So we'll be doing a gear issue in the near future. The other things you're going to need if you are a runner, you're going to need a stopwatch, not a phone. You're going to need a stopwatch like a Timex, smartwatch, something like that. Everybody's going to need that, the water bottle, and what other gear? That's about it. Water bottle. What? Oh yeah, appropriate footwear. Highly recommend going to Fleet Feet or Sound Runner and buying a new pair of shoes. If you don't have them, make sure they're running shoes. Don't go to like Kohl's and just say that's a nice looking shoe. All right, they will fit you to your foot type. So that's important. And they'll have, if you mention Southington, they'll give you a discount as well. So that's a good thing. What else? You will need competition footwear. Yeah, so if you are a sprinter, you're going to need sprint spikes. If you're a mid-distance, you're going to need those kind of spikes. They're different. If you're a thrower, you're going to need shoes for gliding in the circle. So we expect everybody to have those. I'll send you links to where you can find least less expensive ones there. What else? The other gear? All right. Weather. So we practice outside mainly. Depending on how much you're standing around. So for example, if you're going for a 5-mile run, those guys can go out until about 0 degrees. They bundle up, we go out and rerun. If you're a thrower, you're standing around walking, we're probably not going to be outside as much because you're just standing around getting cold. So that's a different temperature. So we look at the weather every day, we figure out what we can do, and we adjust. We have a practice room. Sometimes we can be in here. Fellas, can you stop? Turn around there. There we go. Thank you. We have a practice room. We can be in here. We have a lower hallway. We can roll. We have 200 feet of rollout runway that we can sprint on. That'll reduce shin splints. And we also have a jumps throws room down this hallway that we can set up for high jump, somewhat long jump, and shot put. So that's a good thing. So we will make those calls and push that out on something called Remind, which you all should know what Remind is. So we'll send out those links. All right. The most important thing for those of you, we have I think 65 people signed up for indoor right now on Family ID. I know there's more than 65 here right now. So if you want to be on the team and you want to get info back, so I'll send out a packet to you and to your parents about what the season's going to look like, you got to go register on Family ID. And then the main way we're going to communicate is something in the XC Stats. There's instructions on how to do that on the piece of paper. Make sure you follow the instructions and make sure the last part, which is you have to respond to that email within 24 hours, or you've got to start the whole process over again. All right, if you're on XC Stats already, I will move you over into the indoor season and activate you. And yeah, so that's simple enough. Okay. If you're new, please add a picture of yourself on XC Stats so we can learn faces. That would really help. Not a picture of your dog or your shoe or your favorite sports team's logo. Okay. Your actual face with no mask would be great. Okay. All right. Before I move on, what questions? Yes. Wait, say it one more time. Yes, cross-country spikes will work as track, but track will not work as cross-country. If you want to get track spikes, they are a little bit different, but you can go that direction. You can't go the other direction. Because track spikes have a hard plate on the front of them, whereas cross-country spikes are just rubber on the front. All right, other questions? Need info, activities. Brendan. Oh, there. So we'll be practicing Monday through Friday, 2:45 to 5. However, if you're in a different group, we might move you into a different timeline on those given days. There may be some Saturday practices with your coach. If, for example, if someone's got a work schedule, they got a conflict on Tuesdays, they might give you off on Tuesdays and let you go Saturday. But once we start into the season, especially varsity, we'll be racing. Oh, meets. So indoor meets tend to drag on quite a long while, especially for the varsity. So one of the good things to come out of COVID was a shift in policy for pickup. You used to have to bring a note signed by your mother, signed by the AD, signed by me, check out. So we don't have that anymore. You just got to let your coach, actually let your primary coach and then me know that you're leaving. You're going to put it in XC stats, which we'll show you how to do that ahead of time. And then you can just leave with your parents, say, hey, I'm done after you've completed your cool down. And then you can go home with your parents if you want to. You're welcome to stick around, but some of these meets are 8 hours long and you want to get on to other things and do your homework. But yes, okay. What other questions? Nothing? All right. To earn a varsity letter, you have to qualify for the CCC meet. Okay? That's it. Or be an alternate for a relay. That's how it works. Okay? So the next steps for you guys is if you're not on Family ID, do that. Once you do that tonight, tomorrow, if you're already in the system, I'll send out a blast probably tomorrow with everything. Once December 2nd happens, I won't use Family ID anymore. I will only use XC Stats to communicate with you. So you've got to get that on the XC Stats sooner rather than later, because that's this very simple way to do it. Family ID is me just copying emails and just dropping it into a blind BCC line. Okay, it's not very user friendly. Okay. No other questions? Yes.
Wait, so we don't come back until December 2nd?
Correct. Yeah, and there's nothing stopping you guys. Some of these seasons we've done conditioning. You guys are going to be running in the near future, so highly recommend you start on your own. You can email one of your coaches or me, and we can give you something, but ideally, you start getting into shape and you can start getting fit. Yeah, we will be working a lot on shin splints this year at the beginning of the season because we had so many shin splints cases last year, so get used to walking on your toes. All right, what else? All right, if you have a question at the end, you want to one-on, ask the coach, come on, approach us individually. I did that in 16 minutes. The calendar's on the wall right there. All right.
Can I see Walters before you go, please? Thank you.